Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're doing something a little different. We're not just going to tell a story, we're going to crack open a code. A code that was embedded deep inside the mind of a king. A dream that wasn't just about a coming famine, but about the entire architecture of reality itself. We're heading to ancient Egypt, right to the banks of the Nile, to see what Pharaoh really saw.
So here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll dive right into that nightmare on the Nile. Then we're going to decode what those two sets of 7 really mean. It's a cosmic blueprint. We'll look at the architecture of abundance and its twisted reflection, the corrupted mirror system. Then we'll get into why Pharaoh could only see a tiny piece of the picture. And finally, we're going to bring it all home and see how this cosmic battle is playing out inside of you.
All right, let's get started. I want you to try and forget everything you think you know about this story. Just for a minute, imagine you are right there, standing on the lush, fertile banks of that ancient river, feeling the moment when the veil between worlds gets paper thin in the mind of the most powerful man on earth.
Let's really paint the picture. It's just before dawn. The sky over Egypt is this soft, pearly gradient. The Nile River, this is the lifeblood of the entire civilization. It looks like a ribbon of shimmering liquid silver. The air itself feels thick, full of the smell of lotus flowers and wet earth. This place isn't just a river. It's a source of immense power, a real place of mystique. And right there, in that charged atmosphere, Pharaoh dreams.
And then, right out of that shimmering water, they appear. But these aren't just animals. No way. They are like living symbols of pure, undiluted blessing. 7 cows, and their coats are literally glowing with this inner divine light. Their forms are perfect, healthy. They just radiate abundance. The colors in this stream are, wow, vibrant, life-giving greens, brilliant, shining golds. They're the very picture of perfect health, just grazing peacefully.
And then, just like that, the whole scene flips. The light just falters, the colors drain away, and out of that very same life-giving river, a second group emerges. And these are not just skinny cows. They are horrifying, truly nightmarish. Their forms are skeletal, their skin stretched tight over their ribs, and their color is all shades of ash and shadow. They don't just look hungry. They radiate a spiritual void, a consuming emptiness that literally seems to suck the light and color right out of the dream. Now this is where it gets really weird, right? This is the paradox at the heart of the whole nightmare. The shadowed cows, they lunge and they consume the beautiful radiant ones. But nothing happens. There's no satisfaction, no nourishment. The light of the good cows is just gone, erased. And the Gaunt cows? They stay just as skeletal, just as empty as before. The act of eating brings only destruction, not life. The darkness doesn't get stronger, it just proves it can wipe out the light.
And this whole vision, it's grounded right here in the text. Vehine minhaye or olot shavaparot. And behold, from the river, 7 cows ascended. The text is very specific. The source for both of these realities, the beautiful and the terrifying, is the same, the river. This isn't just some story for kids. It's a precisely coded message about how reality actually works.
So this brings us to the biggest question of all. What did Pharaoh actually see? Was this just an economic forecast about storing grain? Or was he, just for a moment, given this terrifying peek behind the curtain, a glimpse at the universe's operating system, the 2 fundamental forces that govern everything?
To answer that, we have to go to the mystics. We have to turn to the holy Zohar, because the Zohar just blows this dream wide open. It tells us this dream has almost nothing to do with cows or grain. It's about cosmic architecture. It is a blueprint of 2 parallel 7-level systems that are in a constant state of war. And right here, this is the core secret. Rabbi Yitzchak in the Zohar just lays it out. He says, Alien Mesitra Kedusha va Alien Mesitra the Masabuta. These are from the side of holiness, and these are from the side of impurity. It's that simple and that profound. The 7 healthy cows, they represent a 7-layered system of divine flow, of goodness, of life. And the 7 Gaunt cows, they're a parallel 7-layered system of consumption, decay, and spiritual death.
Okay, let's use a modern analogy to make this super clear. First, you have Kedusha, holiness. Think of this as the original, pristine source code for reality. It's the pure, high-speed data stream flowing from the main, super secure cloud server. It's designed to build, to nourish, and to sustain everything on the network. It's the good stuff.
And then, fighting against it, you have the Sitra Achra, which literally means the other side. Now, listen, this is absolutely crucial. It is not its own independent system. It has no power source. It is nothing more than a parasitic mirror of holiness.
It can't create a thing. It can only mimic, invert, and drain the energy from the holy system.
Okay, let's map this out so you can really see it. The Kedusha system, that's your secured cloud server, the source of that pure data stream. It builds and nourishes reality behind a secure firewall. But the Sitra Achra, that's like a corrupted mirror site, a phishing scam. Its entire job is to intercept the data from the real server, corrupt it, and just drain the flow. It is the malware, the virus that consumes and destroys but never, ever creates anything new. This is the cosmic battle that Pharaoh was seeing.
Okay, so now let's get into the nitty-gritty. How does this whole system, this architecture of abundance, actually work? I mean, what are the mechanics? Well, the dream itself gives us the blueprint. It's all built on 7 specific channels. Those are our 7 good cows, and it's through them that all divine blessing flows into our world.
So the mystics, they point out something incredible that's hidden right in the Hebrew text. The word for the Nile is Yeor, but that word is rooted in the word or, which means light. So the Nile in the dream isn't just a river in Egypt, it's the river of light. And this river of light is the spiritual channel known as the Sephirot of Yesod, or foundation. This is the pipeline that gathers all the higher divine energies and shoots them down into our reality.
So what exactly are the 7 good cows that come out of this river of light? Well, they are the 7 lower Sephirot. You can think of them as the divine attributes that make up the personality of the Creator and the very structure of a healthy, functioning reality. It all starts with Chesed, loving kindness, and flows all the way down to Malkut, which is the final manifestation in our world. This is the divine pipeline right here.
Let's think of this like cosmic engineering. Step 1 is Chesed. This is that unbounded, initial surge of pure, expansive energy. Imagine a flood of luminous white light. But pure energy is kind of useless without shape, right? So then comes Gavura, strength or discipline. This is the channel that narrows the flow, gives it direction and purpose, like focusing a laser beam, and its color is this intense, powerful red. Then you get Tiferet, harmony, beauty. This is like the central processing unit. It perfectly balances the expansive energy of Chesed with the focused power of Gavura. Its color is this beautiful, radiant blend of gold and green. Perfect harmony.
And as we continue down this pipeline, we hit Netzach and Hod, often pictured as the right and left legs that move things forward. Netzach is active endurance, driving that energy forward to make things happen, to achieve victory. Hod is more passive. It's splendor, humility, gratitude. It grounds the energy, gives it structure. They work together. All of that feeds into Yesod, the foundation, our river of light. Yesod is the collection point. It gathers all these perfectly balanced energies and gets them ready for the final step, which is Malkut, kingdom. That's the final vessel. That's our physical world, which receives the perfected flow and makes it real as blessing, prosperity, and life. That's the system of the 7 radiant cows, fully operational.
Okay, but now we have to look at the dark side of the dream, those 7 Gaunt cows. And it is so important to understand this. The Sitra Achra, the side of impurity, is not some separate equal power of darkness. It's a twisted, parasitic reflection of the holy system we just walked through.
You see, mystically speaking, evil has no real existence of its own. It isn't a thing. It's a lack of a thing. It's the absence of good. It's like a shadow, which can only exist because something is blocking the light. The Sitra Achra can't create energy or life. It can only latch on to the holy pipeline, hijack the flow, and corrupt it for its own empty, consumptive goals.
So let's look at what this corruption actually looks like. You take that pure, expansive energy of chesed, selfless love. When the Sitra Achra intercepts it, it becomes uncontrolled lust, or idolatry, love that's all twisted and directed at the self. You take the focused power of Gevura, holy discipline, and it becomes cruelty and raw, uncontrolled anger. And Tiferet, that beautiful harmony that comes from truth and humility, it gets twisted into arrogance and pride. The colors here just shift completely to sickly ashen tones, oppressive blacks, and the dark red of dried blood.
And it just keeps going, all the way down the system. That drive of Netzach, of victory, becomes ruthless domination over other people. The humility of Hod becomes deception and weakness. That holy connection of Yesod, the very foundation of life and family, becomes the source of broken bonds and immorality. And finally, the beautiful structured kingdom of Malkut dissolves into either tyranny on one hand or total anarchy on the other. The entire blueprint for a healthy person and a healthy world is mirrored by a blueprint for total chaos.
So why was the dream doubled?
right? Why see it once with cows and then again with ears of grain? The commentators tell us that the number 2 here is for emphasis, to confirm that this structure is an absolute reality. This isn't just a possibility, it's a certainty. The dream is repeated to hammer it into Pharaoh's head and into ours that these 2 parallel 7-level systems are fundamental, unchangeable law of the universe.
This all leads to a really interesting question. If this dream is this huge revelation of deep cosmic secrets, why show it to Pharaoh? I mean, this is the king of Egypt, the guy who basically embodies the unholy, imbalanced system. Why him?
Let's use a video game analogy to get this. Imagine reality is a huge online game, and there are 2 servers running at the same time. You've got the Kedusha server. That's the game as it's meant to be played, full of abundance, meaningful quests, amazing rewards. But then there's the Sitra Achra server. It's a corrupted, pirated server, full of glitches, decay, and monsters. Joseph, he's like a master player, maybe even a developer. He can see the game's code. He gets how both servers work. But Pharaoh, he's just an NPC, a non-player character. He's stuck inside the game. He can't see the code. All he sees are the effects on his screen, the monsters and the glitches, the famine that are being spawned by that corrupted server.
The great Kabbalist, the Ari, he explains this in his book Etz Chaim. He says that Pharaoh's spiritual grip, his achiza, is on the oref, which means the back of the neck. Now, this is a really deep idea. It means Pharaoh represents a kind of consciousness that can only see the results, the back of things, the physical manifestation. He is spiritually blind to the inner reality, the face, the source code, where everything is coming from.
And this just sums it up perfectly. Pharaoh saw the famine. He saw the empty barns and the hungry people. In our tech analogy, he saw the 404 error message flashing on his screen. But he had no clue what was causing it. He couldn't see the metaphysical system failure, the corrupted code running on the Sitra Achra server that was the actual root of the problem.
And look, don't just take my word for it. The Zohar itself says this, proving our whole analogy is ancient wisdom. Talking about Pharaoh, it says, Vihiu chama binuan dargan deleta, and he saw only in those lower levels. He could see the final physical result, the skinny cows eating the fat ones, but he was totally blind to the higher spiritual reality of the Sephirot and their evil twins, which was the real subject of his dream.
So what does all of this ancient dream, this mystical code, what does it mean for us, right here, right now? Well, this is where it all becomes intensely personal. Because these 2 systems, the holy pipeline and the corrupted mirror, they aren't just out there in the cosmos. They are both running simultaneously inside of every single one of us.
The real punchline of Pharaoh's dream is a question that we have to ask ourselves. We all have these 7 levels inside our own personalities. We all have a good cow and a gaunt cow for every single one of our character traits. That epic battle that Pharaoh saw playing out on the world stage, it's happening inside of you every single day.
So let's get really practical. This chart is basically a map for your own self-awareness. Look at it. Your inner chesed can be the holy path of generosity and compassion, or it can be the corrupted path of selfishness and apathy. Your givura can be the self-control and courage of your good cow, or it can be the anger and hatred of your gaunt cow. Every day, every choice we make, we are deciding which of these systems we are going to feed. Are you nourishing your good cows with kindness, with discipline, with humility? Or are you letting the gaunt cows of pride and anger and laziness just consume your inner world? This is the real work.
And that's the ultimate lesson from Pharaoh's dream. It's about profound personal responsibility. This cosmic war between creation and consumption, between abundance and decay, it is not just some old story. It is the fundamental choice of our lives. And it's a choice we make in every single moment, with every thought we choose to think, every word we decide to speak, and every action we take. We are all standing on the banks of our own inner Nile, and we are the ones who decide which cows come out of the water. Thank you for joining us for this complete journey through the Pardes. We hope these ancient truths help you and your family improve your own dimensions this week. If you enjoyed this full chapter deep dive, please like, subscribe, and share which part of the journey touched your soul in the comments. We'll see you in the next chapter.